previously noticed and continued public hearing, it will be continued. There will also be public hearing before the planning board gets to the planning board. Don't remember how many feet there are that the notification goes out, but my understanding is that it was sent out to those people that were required under the code to be sent out. It doesn't mean that somebody isn't still impacted by it that wasn't personally notified.
But there's within a certain number of feet of the line of this project, everybody who's on our tax map supposedly, but evidently if yours was not included,
I was not
fine. Okay. What we'll try to do is make sure you're notified the next time around. Because if this project does go forward, there'll be another public hearing. Anyone else that
Hi, my name is Sean Sullivan. I live at 21 Everett Road. I have a lot of the same concerns that you've been hearing from my neighbors, and I don't need to be repetitive. They brought a lot of things up and they've spoken very well, but I still add my voice to it in a couple of different areas. I'm amazed that we brought a basket of vegetables with us. This is right behind my house. Nobody's talking about planting vegetables behind my house. We're talking about planting 200 bathrooms behind my house. We're talking about parking 400 cars behind my house. This development is completely out of character with the neighborhood. Everything is single-family houses on multiple acres, and we're talking about putting 200 dwelling units in. It's going to, with all of the pollution, air pollution, noise pollution, light, wastewater that comes with it. I would speak again to the concerns about the carrying off of the wastewater and that stream. I heard it called the Class C stream. Anyone that lives around it, and I live right next door to Kathy and Claire's son, it goes dry very easily and it floods its banks very easily. About 20% of the time, there's not going to be water in that stream to carry away the wastewater, and about 20% of the time, it's going to be on our lawns. So the wastewater, a lot of us have concerns. Like I said, everyone's in single-family houses on multiple acres. We have serious concerns about what putting 200 rental units in the middle of that is going to do to our property values. The pollution, the traffic, you've heard all this. I won't dwell too much on it. So just one more voice saying I have serious concerns about this project.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Jerry, come back.
Good evening. Jerry Boss, 223 Craigville Road. Members of the board, my concern is the cumulative effect. This is one project. We also have 4 other projects. We have the Riga project. We have Heritage Estates. We have the Feeney Brothers, and there's one other I can't recall.
ADC.
What is it?
ADC.
ADC. As Mr. Field astutely stated, there's a traffic situation here. If you take the cumulative effect of all of these projects, and some of them are well on their way to put the shovel in the dirt, I think it has to be taken in that context. We have to look at all of this. Under the Bernstein administration, we did have a traffic study. I believe, Doug, under your administration, we also had one. Having been to many of these meetings, and if I recall correctly, these traffic studies were to determine just how much traffic our town can absorb. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Again, I don't need to bother your time again, but I just have a question. You said that 70% of it was unused. The way I'm looking at this map, on Everett Road, that development is absolutely just about filling the buffer zone of the DEC. And the property on 207 is the property that's being unused. Not the property that's on Everett Road, which is affecting all of us here. That 70% to me, when I look at this map, everything else on Everett Road you can't use. That's wetlands. But on 207, that's where all of the unused space is. surrounding their property, not surrounding my property. Thank you.
Thank you. Ma'am?
Hello, my name is Ramona Harrigan, and I live at 24 Everett, and I have grave concerns about this project. I want to reiterate some of the concerns with it being rental units that are not in character with our neighborhood. Okay, an adult community, 55, where the youngest age could be 19 and up. Well, I'm in social work, and let me tell you, there's a lot of grandparents raising their grandchildren these days. And in our school districts, some of the most expensive funding comes from special ed, which covers people up to 21 years old in New York State. And lots of the grandmothers who are raising grandchildren, are due to parents having drug problems, alcohol problems. Children often have some severe, disabilities that need to be addressed by school districts, so that does raise school taxes. I would also like to say, I think the turnout here has been that basically we say no as a community. We don't want a special use permit for this. It's not in character with how we're living. I see a few little vegetables there. I grew up with fruit trees, a garden, all kinds of that. I wouldn't begin to say my place was a farm. Growing some vegetables in a greenhouse, I don't know how many acres you're farming there. To me, that's not a farm. Green technology. I understand there's a lot of funding right now for adult PAC communities. I can see that maybe being a need and the sounding of green technology. But I remember when your husband stopped at our house and asked my husband about green technology and was amazed because my husband already had put in a system and he didn't even have done one yet. So I'm wondering just, how efficient and well-developed this is going to be. Also, I'd like to say, with green technology, with geothermal, you still need to use electricity. You're talking about geothermal as ground. You're using the ground temperature of the water, which is 55 degrees, so you still need to use energy. Another thing I would like to address is if someone is really, truly that concerned about green, why would they place a project like this where it's surrounded by DEC wetlands? Wetlands are fragile ecosystems, and I'm very concerned about the salt runoff that happens with road maintenance, people putting things, that drain out into the wetlands. This is a freshwater system, and the effluent that they're talking also that's been reiterated upon, smell. They're talking about putting in some drought-tolerant planting in wetlands. Isn't that an invasive species? I don't know. I think it is. Also, I guess basically, I haven't heard where this is a benefit to my community. I haven't heard anybody here talk about that they felt it was a benefit. So I guess what I'm saying is I vote no. I think if the board is representing us, you're going to hear what the community is saying, and I thank you very much for listening to us. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, any other comments from the public? Yes. Aaron?
I'd like to state that just things going on in Washington today that I never thought would happen. We're basically on our way to socialized medicine in one form or another. We've this $1.4 trillion stimulus plan. I mean, it's basically structurally changed the spending and the deficit in our country. So we're never going to be able to have the same type of fabric that we have. I never thought I'd see the Federal Reserve keep interest rates at basically around 0.25%. And as Bernanke said today, basically ad infinitum, looking forward, he doesn't see the Federal Reserve raising interest rates. Now, whoever thought they would see maybe 2, 3, 4, 5 years in a row of the Fed keeping interest rates at basically zero, which all these, I raise these blue swan sort of events just to say that this planned community, sooner or later, we're going to wind up with a situation where somebody's going to want to remove the deed restriction.